All right, so let's take what we know about motion graphs and use it to derive the kinematics equations that we're going to use for the rest of this unit, right? So here's a velocity versus time graph, because remember, velocity versus time graphs are the most useful motion graphs we can make. And I've got an object that started at some initial velocities here, and it's sped up over some time interval to some final velocity, right? So what do we know from this graph? Well, I know the slope of this graph is equal to the acceleration, right? Because the slope of velocity time graph is the acceleration. We talked about that. And I also know that because this is a linear graph, right? Think back to algebra, y equals mx plus b, right? So let's write the equation for this line, but let's use meaningful things, not just y and x, right? This isn't math anymore, it's physics. So y is the thing on the y-axis, so that's velocity. B is the y-intercept, so that's going to be my initial velocity, right? Because that's the y-intercept of this line. And x is the thing that's on the x-axis, which is the time. So let's write y equals mx plus b, and let's plug in the stuff we know. So y is going to be final velocity, because that's the thing that we're finding, right? So the final velocity would be whatever's on the y-axis. So final velocity equals the slope of the line is the acceleration, right? So slope is acceleration, and then the thing on the x-axis is the time, right? So times time, right? That's my time interval, plus whatever my intercept is. So my intercept, I said where it crosses, is my initial velocity, plus v naught. And so there we have our first equation, right? And this equation more commonly you'll see like this, vf equals v naught plus a delta t. But this one is the definition of acceleration, right? Because if I do some algebra and rearrange this around, right, I can subtract the v naught, so I can say vf minus v naught, and then I can divide the delta t over equals a. And if you look at this, a equals final minus initial velocity divided by time. That's the same thing as saying delta v over delta t equals a, right? So this one is the definition of acceleration. This is our first kinematics formula. Okay, so here's another motion graph. Same kind of thing, right? Let's think of what else we know. I know that the slope is the acceleration, right? But we also learned that the area under this curve, the area here, equals the displacement covered by whatever this object is, right? Okay, so if I look at this area, right, let me get a different color. I can think of it as this whole shape right here, but I can break it up into, there's a rectangle right here, and there's a triangle right here, right? So I've got a rectangle and a triangle. If I find those areas, that'll give me the displacement, right? So let's start with the rectangle. So the rectangle is just base times height, right? Area of a rectangle is base times height. So the base is delta t, right? Because this is my base. And the height is going to be whatever v naught was, right? Because see over here, it started at some initial velocity. So this is my base, and here's my height. So it's delta t times v naught. Okay, so let's look at the triangle. So for this triangle, a triangle is 1/2 base times height, right? So let's do the same thing. So for this triangle, the base is still delta t. So this is 1/2 times delta t. But the height of this triangle is going to be the difference from final minus initial, right? So vf minus v naught. That's going to be the height of this triangle. It's not just vf because it's not going from 0. So times vf minus v naught. And we know that vf minus v naught is delta v, right? That's the same thing. And so we also know that delta v is equal to a times delta t, right? So over here, my triangle is going to be 1/2 times delta t times a delta t. And that equals 1/2 a times delta t squared, right? Because there's 2 delta t's there. Algebra. Okay, so let's add this all up. So I have my rectangle, which is, well, let's start with this. Delta x is my area, equals my rectangle, which is initial velocity times time, plus the triangle, which I said is 1/2 a times delta t squared. This is your second kinematics equation. And if you look at this, this is really just the quadratic equation. ax squared plus bx plus c equals some number. Okay, so at this point we got two equations. One, this is the definition of acceleration, right? You're probably going to use this a lot. Second one looks scary. It's a quadratic equation. It's really not that bad because a lot of times this initial velocity is going to be zero and that whole thing's going to go away, so not too bad. There's a third equation, right? And I'm going to show it to you, but I'm not going to derive it because that's just a little more involved in the math. Like, you're never going to need to derive that in this class. And so that equation is final velocity squared equals initial velocity squared plus 2 times the acceleration times the displacement. And so this equation is good because if you notice, there's no time here. So anytime you have something that's accelerating, you don't know the time, this is the useful equation to use. And the point of having three equations is because we have multiple things that are variables in this case, right? So my variables here, I have final velocity, I have initial velocity, I have acceleration, I have time interval, and I have displacement, right? So here I've got 5 variables. So if I want to be able to solve these 5 variables, I need more than just one equation, which is why I have these 3 kinematics equations.